Detroit just sent a message to the rest of the NFC without even playing a snap tonight, and I need you to feel what just happened because this is one of those moments where you can literally see playoff football starting to move in October. This is last-minute energy. This hits Detroit directly, and it's all about one thing, the secondary. I'm going to lay out why the Lions front office is under real pressure right now. What kind of defensive back actually fits what Kelvin Shepherd is trying to build? What just went down inside the NFC that proves other teams are already acting like it's January? And then I'll tell you the name that just changed the market for corners. I want you locked in because none of this is rumor. This is active. This is now with the trade deadline sitting right there on November 4th. First, let's be honest about where we are as Detroit Lions fans. We're not in the cute underdog phase anymore. Around the league, people are talking about Detroit as one of the top teams in football. Power rankings have us up with the heavyweights, not on the outside looking in. That means expectations changed. The city is talking Super Bowl with a straight face. And when you're living in that air, every soft spot on your roster becomes public scouting material for everybody else in the NFC. Our soft spot is not a secret. It's the defensive backroom. We've taken hits there every single week. DJ Reed lands on injured reserve with the hamstring. Terrion Arnold is out there gutting it out through a shoulder and openly saying he's not 100%. Brian Branch, who is huge for us in the middle of the field, misses time between suspension and pure wear. We're elevating Arthur Mauled off the practice squad just to get a grown man in the slot for prime downs. That's not luxury coverage depth. That's emergency coverage depth. And all of this is happening while Kelvin Shepherd is in his first year calling this defense. Shepherd is taking over from Aaron Glenn, and he's doing it in real games against real quarterbacks while half his back end is taped together. The standard he's trying to set is simple. Corners in Detroit have to play mean, not just mirror routes, hit, tackle, blitz, blow up a screen before it becomes 2nd and 2. That is the identity he and Dan Campbell want. You're not just babysitting a wideout in this system, you're part of the punch. Now look at the calendar. Days from the deadline, Tennessee is basically selling. The Titans are sitting in the basement, changing direction again, and they're doing what every team in transition does at this point in the season. They quietly let it be known that good players who aren't part of the long-term plan can be had. That's when smart contenders pounce. You call, you ask, you see if you can steal a starter for a mid or late pick. And this is where the alarm goes off for Detroit. Because while we're still patching the slot with stopgaps and hoping guys heal up, another NFC team just made exactly that kind of move. They didn't wait for March, they didn't overthink it. They upgraded their secondary for almost nothing. An NFC playoff hopeful just grabbed a 25-year-old corner who started from day one in this league, who has already piled up more than 200 tackles, who has played both outside and nickel, who hits like a safety. And they paid basically a late-round pick swap. Read that again in plain terms. A direct NFC rival just fixed a weakness with pocket change while we're still holding our breath on hamstrings and shoulders. That is the kind of move that flips a playoff game in January. The player I'm talking about is Roger McCreary. If you don't know him yet, you're about to. McCreary came into the league in 2022 as a second-round pick out of Auburn, and Tennessee didn't hide him at all. As a rookie, he was on the field full-time. Outside, inside, wherever they needed help. He's not a loud stat-chaser corner. He's a grown-up corner. Coaches trust him on third down because he's physical, he understands leverage, and he finishes the play. People around the league talk about him more like a disruptor than a pure ball hawk. He's not jumping every route for highlight picks, but he is constantly on the receiver's hip, getting hands on the ball, forcing the quarterback to hold it that extra beat. And that extra beat is everything for a pass rush. We talk all day about Aiden Hutchinson being a Defensive Player of the Year type force again this year, and it's real. But even Hutchinson can't win if the quarterback is catching and firing in under 2 seconds to a wide-open slot. You slow that first read down and suddenly Hutch is living in the backfield again. You don't slow it down and you make even an elite rusher look quiet. That's why a guy like McCreary is not just another corner. He's a timing changer. Look at the profile. He's around 5'11", about 190, and he plays heavier than that. He'll come downhill and hit. We've already seen him blitz off the edge and get home for a sack. We've seen him jump an inside throw and take the ball away. Through the first half of this season, he's sitting on 30-plus tackles, most of them solo, 1 interception, and snaps both outside and in the slot. That screams Detroit. Kelvin Shepherd has been clear that he wants corners with linebacker mindset. That is literally Roger McCreary's calling card. You can line him up inside against a shifty slot guy, you can walk him outside if someone goes down, and you can trust him to tackle in space instead of hoping the safety cleans it up. That's what we've been missing with Reed hurt, Arnold banged up, and Branch in and out. And here's the part that really matters for a front office that has to think about cap and future. McCreary is only 25, and he's in the final year of his rookie deal. That means you're not taking on some bloated veteran contract just to plug a leak for 2 months. You're getting a starter-level corner at young player money right in the middle of your Super Bowl window. That is how contenders operate. So what just happened? Tennessee moved him. They sent him out of the AFC South, and the price was basically a conditional late pick swap. No first, no second. Not even a clean day 2 pick. A playoff team called, said we'll take him, and the Titans said yes. And the team that pounced wasn't in the AFC. It was the Los Angeles Rams. Let that sink in. The Rams, who are already stacking wins and fighting for seeding in our conference, were getting burned in the slot, were asking safeties to play man on receivers, and they went out and grabbed McCreary because they knew he could step in and clean that up right away. That's how serious teams in October behave. Now tell me that doesn't sound familiar. Detroit is dealing with the same stress point. We've been forced to shuffle bodies inside. We've had to lean on depth that was supposed to just play special teams. Every time the slot wobbles, the safety has to cheat down. And when the safety cheats down, the deep half opens and offenses know it. That's why I'm saying this isn't just Rams news. This is Lions news. Because that trade told the whole league what the real price is for stabilizing the middle of the field. It told us that you can absolutely go get a starting caliber inside-outside, tough, tackle-in-space corner for something around a late pick and a little bit of cap math. That is not fantasy. That just happened in our conference, which means Brad Holmes, our general manager, is officially on the clock. This is where reputations get made. Do you sit still, trust that bodies heal, hope that Shepherd can scheme around it until December, and cross your fingers that in the NFC title game Jared Goff can just win a shootout? Or do you treat this the way the Rams just treated it and say, no, we're not letting a soft spot cost us in January, we're getting help now? My opinion as a Lions fan could not be clearer. We have to act like the window is open because it is open. We're sitting in the top tier of the NFC. Hutchinson is back looking violent off the edge. Dan Campbell has this locker room believing every single week. And people around the league are finally admitting we are built to play deep into January. You cannot waste that by being polite at the deadline. I want to hear you on this. Drop your take in the comments and tell me if you'd spend that kind of late pick to bring in a Roger McCreary type and lock down that slot for the stretch run, or if you're comfortable rolling with what we've got and gambling that the injuries clear up in time. Because for me, after everything this team has fought through to climb from fun story to legit NFC power, I'm past the part where we talk about rebuilding. I'm talking about rings. And if you're with me on that, stick with this channel. Hit like, hit subscribe, turn on alerts, because here on Lions News Fan Report, I'm going to keep talking to you exactly how I talk to people in Detroit. Direct, urgent, and about winning, not excuses.